This week on the Marketing Update, new CXO job title combines two nerdy positions into one super nerd.
Google buys a giant newspaper ad to prove that newspaper ads don't work.
Toilet paper advertising finds its natural place.
Mobile video is a key to m-commerce.
And then Facebook passes Yahoo as the #2 top online video producer.
By uniques.
By uniques. This is the Marketing Update. We're coming to you live from Cambridge, Massachusetts. If you'd like to interact on Twitter, you can use hashtag #MKTGUp. You can also tweet me personally. I'll give you a second to digest that.
It's pronounced just like it's spelled, Mallikarjunan.
There you go. That's
and I'm Pistachio.
much easier.
Obviously, we're not Ellie and Andrew. Ellie and Andrew are busy preparing for Inbound.
Absolutely. As always, all the old shows are on iTunes. If you like today's show, if you've liked any of the other shows, go back and give them all 5-star ratings.
And you are welcome to come watch us tape the show live, just like today's live studio audience. 4 p.m. any Friday, 25 First Street in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
It's definitely worth the airfare if you're somewhere else.
Let's get to the news, Sam.
All right, so today's first headline, this. The hot new CXO position, the Chief Marketing Technology Officer. So there was an article on VentureBeat about how there's a popular new C-level position called the Chief Marketing Technology Officer, how marketing technology is getting so complex and so important that they actually have to have somebody who's completely dedicated to it.
It's an interesting idea because what we had seen was Gartner putting out numbers that spend is shifting from the CIO to the CMO as technology becomes increasingly important for marketing. But this is a very interesting proposition that John Coetzee has made. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. That they actually come up with a new hybrid position of a CMO who's extremely technical or a technical leader who understands the integrity of marketing for the whole company.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big problems you have, right, when you're working with a CIO or a CTO at a company is they don't actually understand the use cases, why marketing actually needs this software, how they're going to use this software, how it's going to be integrated. And it makes it very difficult for them to make really smart purchasing decisions. So by having a marketer who's also a technical person who's here responsible for creating and supporting that kind of technology, the hope is that you're going to be able to have all this software that supports all of these new roles that marketers have that are supposed to tie right back into the business goals.
And they put together an amazing infographic. I printed it out. It goes pages and pages and pages. Like, what is it with the shape of infographics anyway, right? Like, they just want you to scroll forever. But it's a great infographic, and if you're following the @Pistachio account or the #MKTGUp, that rolls right off the tongue, hashtag, you'll see that I have scheduled tweets to link to everything we're going to talk about here today. So check it out for yourself. What is this next story? This is the one that I thought was really funny, but I wish we had more data on.
Absolutely. First, we're going to do the marketing segue from the last one. And the marketing segue from the last one is that marketing is actually getting hard now. You have hard metrics. You have all these things that you have to be measured on. And the key is that you want to have somebody who can support all of these different types of software that work together, unless you have an easy, integrated, all-in-one marketing solution.
Do you know someone who sells something like that?
I may.
All right, no pitching. Google buys newspaper ad to explain why newspaper ads suck. Some love to the Globe and Mail, right? This big Canadian newspaper, they needed the money. They kind of knew what they were getting into, but the specific quote in the article is very, very simple ad. Took up like 2/3 of the page, real big, beautiful display. They basically said, well, and I'll first note that promotions in unusual places is a bit of a theme today on our show. You know who needs a haircut? People who are searching for haircuts. And then it showed a little Google AdWords for haircuts and gave the phone number of their advertising representative they could call to buy Google Ads.
It was definitely a unique tactic. There's a couple of interesting things. First of all, I think it's useful for them because they've got really good penetration into people who know what PPC is. People who know internet marketing in general, like you don't really not know what Google paid ads are or how to use them. So it was kind of interesting that they're using this conventional medium to reach people who may not know what that is, and at the same time mocking it. I think it was a very well deployed campaign.
And a little bonus story within a story, a firm called Monotate released some numbers this week, and actually Sam and I were interviewed by Ragan.com. Again, my account has just tweeted out the link to the Ragan paper on the Monotate data, simply showing that email and search are much stronger drivers of e-commerce than social is at this point in time. Made sense to us because social is much more about the top of the funnel, where e-commerce is email is much more middle of the funnel, and search, someone is trying to find the product. So weren't too terribly surprised. I'd say the marketing takeaway on this one, well, measure stuff like this when you do it. I really hope Google did. I really am dying to know what the numbers are. And Sam and I talked about maybe grabbing a little budget, talking to Mike, warming him up, buying a big newspaper ad, and at the same time running Google AdWords and doing a side-by-side comparison of the results. Because
I just want to do a direct mail campaign to a bunch of people saying that this was a horrible waste of money. That's all it's going to say. If you'd like to learn how to spend money better.
It says, what the?
Yeah. Do a giant commercial, like take out a Super Bowl commercial, be like, this was a horrible, horrible idea. Like, go to HubSpot.com/demo to learn out why.
Now I've got 2 stories in a row here because I couldn't resist this next one. Hopefully my tweet on it has posted by now. I think it might be another minute or 2 because I want you to watch the video of CNN's Jeannie Moos reporting on this next innovation. It is called Star Toilet Paper. It's toilet paper with free advertisements on the roll. So they have a 2-ply business model. Step 1, sell the ads. Step 2, give away the toilet paper. What do you think about this one, Sam?
I think it smells a little funny.
I think in the can is a very natural place for advertising to be because it kind of sucks.
I will say, I get a little bit marketer on you. It depends on your demographic, right? How long they spend in there. Like, are they the type of people that use a reader? They have like a bathroom reader or something like that.
I quote the Sullivans, the brothers who founded it. Impressions last 1 to 10 minutes depending on what you ate last night. It is ½ cents per ad. There's even a special note in the story that don't worry, it's soy-based ink, so it's not going to rub off on your behind. What the heck does soy-based ink have to do with whether or not I'm going to get...
I'm really not going to touch that.
I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think the marketing takeaway for me on this one, finally, advertising that's actually useful. You can do something with it.
Oh, I like that.
I don't mean sell stuff. I mean,
that's good.
It's useful. It's like those paper plate mats at the diner, but the other end.
I take it. That's a good takeaway. All right, cool. Our next story, mobile video and tablets equal e-commerce winning. So we've talked a lot about video. We're also on video right now. So like we invest a lot in kind of video in the marketing space. This will be recorded. We can use it, right? The big trend in e-commerce has been using videos to show products, show their accessories, kind of show how they interact in their environment. That's the big objection that a lot of people have when buying online is the inability to kind of see like how does it look and feel in the hand and stuff like that. It's really just kind of like a 2-dimensional picture.
Right.
And so there was an interesting article that came out in Forbes, which is talking about how banner ads and other ads on mobile have performed really, really, really poorly. But video, like just having video either on your site or video embedded in social media or being promoted, actually performs really, really well. If somebody watches a video, they're 64% more likely to actually buy something from your website from a mobile device than somebody who doesn't. So the question is, like, is this like a much more valuable tactic that we should be investing much more in?
I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that knows that watching video on a mobile device is still as exciting and fun as, well, many other sucky things. And maybe by the time someone's gone to all that effort to let the darn thing download and watch the video, they're much more likely to buy because they went through all that in the first place. So I would want to see the numbers on how common is it for somebody on their mobile device in a store or whatever they're doing to actually sit through the whole video. But that said, you had some really good points about this.
I really wish we were sponsored by like Verizon or something, because that would be an awesome opportunity for me to say, oh, if you had the 4G network or something.
I do have the 4G network. When my kids want to watch a video on my phone, it is an act of patience for all of us.
I watch video all the time. I don't actually buy a ton of stuff mobilely, except through the Amazon app and things like that. But the other interesting thing is that having video on your site actually increases the amount of loyalty that people have. Right? We talk a lot about educating your visitors and teaching them something and creating a useful teaching experience. when they've had a video that's brought them a lot of value, you're less likely to be called Amazoned, which is where they find the information on your site and then go buy it somewhere else. Shameless plug for my speech at the Inbound conference next week. It's called How to Do Marketing Better Than Amazon. So come to Inbound.
That was subtle. I almost didn't see it.
Yeah.
Do you have a marketing takeaway?
I have a takeaway. My takeaway is that the visual revolution is well underway. Whether it's infographics, which we just printed out and kind of showed, whether it's video, whether it's animations, all these different things, you should be investing in visual ways to kind of represent your value proposition and make customers feel more comfortable.
Sounds good to me. So, kind of big news, sort of. Another Mashable headline this week was that Facebook passes Yahoo as the #2 top online US video content property by uniques.
I was much more excited by this than you were.
You were very excited about this until I showed you the math, which is very backwards for us because usually you're a math guy.
It's true.
Let's talk about what got you excited.
So I was excited about it because people are just being really harsh on Facebook lately. Their mobile app is awful. It's absolutely terrible. Their stock is tanking, and there's like a number of reasons. But like, you definitely should not be writing off Facebook. There should not be a marketer anywhere who's saying, oh, Facebook isn't going to last, and I don't necessarily need to invest in building a community and a presence on Facebook.
Agreed.
And so I was very excited because I kind of like want to see them be successful, and so I'm hoping that these more information will kind of help people realize that they should be highly engaged there.
It's sort of like me and Twitter, but we'll get into that later.
I'll argue with Kip about is Facebook dying in 2012.
Well, the story was, yeah, you can have a debate with, yeah. So the story was, in the month of July 2012, 56,000 uniques watched video on Facebook, which honestly, out of a user base of like 12 billion or whatever they are up to now, isn't that much, but it's, it's a lot. At number 1, you've got all the Google properties, which face it means YouTube, with 156,999,000 uniques. Yes, there's more uniques for Facebook. There's like 4,000 more, right? But then you look into the numbers a little closer, and you realize that the Yahoo viewers, those 5,000 less individuals, still watched twice as many videos. Further, if you multiply it out by the time factor, right? Because people watching videos on YouTube, Google properties, watch 525 minutes a month. On Facebook, they're watching 21 minutes a month, and on Yahoo, they're watching 70 minutes a month. So I got out my calculator, I did the math, and I saw that Google sites account for 1.3 million hours of video in the month of July, which is a big number. Although interestingly, overall online, 4.1 million hours of video. So even though we have like, a big head and a long tail, it is a very long tail. 68% of the time spent watching video in July was not on YouTube or Facebook or Yahoo.
I don't think I've ever heard you use this many numbers in one conversation.
I've got more. So if the total, that 4.1 million hours, that chunk of video watchedness, right? 32% of that goes to YouTube. What percent goes to Facebook? 0.4% goes to Facebook. And Yahoo, in their number 3 on uniques, had 0.8% of it. So again, very long tail, very strange distribution. Let's make it into some productive takeaways for you. For your Facebook marketing, yes, I would absolutely be using video because clearly people enjoy it and lots of different unique users are watching it. Now, from Facebook's value generation standpoint, they want a huge number of net hours, right? Because it keeps you there more. But from your standpoint as a marketer, you want uniques. So it's actually, a valid metric to say they're number 2 in uniques now.
I definitely agree. I would also say that the key thing to remember is Facebook isn't really a video discovery destination, right? It's a social engagement destination. It's a other kind of content discovery destination. So I would say that like short videos that are really highly digestible, that get people excited, that actually works on Facebook. Like I wouldn't necessarily say you guys should go out there and make YouTube-y videos for Facebook. I think that you should make Facebook-y videos for Facebook that are fairly short.
Facebook-y.
Facebook.
I did have one error in my math. I'm sorry. YouTube, Yahoo, when you multiply out uniques times time, is actually 3 times as much overall time. So it's 1.2% of that whole mass.
I don't want Yahoo.
Smart marketer, definitely using content videos, not advertising videos, content videos on your Facebook page.
Definitely. So we have a couple of tweets. I'm looking for any of them that don't involve talking about scotch and cigars and me. I need to work on like my brand image. Apparently, like nobody realizes I do marketing. They just think I smoke cigars and drink
No,
scotch.
there's one about Prince Harry.
It's true. I convinced Prince Harry to attend the Inbound 12 conference and be the Billboards sponsor.
Billiards sponsor.
Oh, billiards
He was
sponsor.
playing naked billiards in a hotel suite in Vegas. Let's talk about absurdities of media. The UK press initially wouldn't run the pictures, right, because they don't do that kind of thing. There's a reasonable expectation of privacy when you're in a hotel room. Well, there's no reasonable expectation of privacy anywhere anymore, as we all know. And they lasted all of 24 hours in their Higher Than Thou, Higher and Mighty, and now the cover of The Sun has the same thing everybody's been able to access via the internet for the last 24 hours. Anyway, poor Harry. That brings us to the marketing tip of the week. You're going to be completely stunned and surprised by it this week. What is it, Sam? It is the marketing tip of the
Inbound.
week. Come to Inbound next week. If you can't come to Inbound, follow #Inbound12. That's the official hashtag. There's going to be a lot going on. I'm sorry if it's going to give you fear of missing out. We'll have to get a page up soon to let you pre-register for Inbound 2013. Because really, this conference, we set an audacious goal to get 2,000 people there. And we sold out a few days ago and had to come up with new space. So expect it to be even huger next year. Meanwhile, follow along from home. #Inbound12, and especially Wednesday morning, August 29th from 9 to 10:30. That's the big founder keynote.
It's going to blow your mind.
And next year, if we don't see you this year, we'll see you next year.
Take care, everybody.